From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is The Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, comedians Michael Yo and Joe Matarese. Plus, we'll do some news stories with Chris Loxamana. And now, today's intro joke was just a Pink Floyd lyric. Lynch isn't in the Writers Guild. He's just lazy. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. Oh! I don't know what I'm doing. Michael Yo back in studio. Everyone loves Michael Yo. Chris Maxipata over here. Michael's got dates coming up. Salt Lake City Wise Guys. That is May 12th and 13th. And then Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club. Love Jimmy. May 25th through the 28th. He's got shows in Seattle, and what you should do is go to michaelyo.com for all the live shows. Good to see you again, my friend.
Hey, good to see you. Thanks for having me, man.
Our pleasure. I have thoughts about things that are in the news. I oftentimes talk about my least favorite TV campaigns.
Okay.
Most of them involve, like, things that are grotesque, like I don't like the Noid that lives under your toenails and then uses your big toe nail like a hatch and lifts it up and slides under it because it hurts my fucking teeth.
Yeah, and that's disgusting.
Yeah, so I have a simple theorem, which is, people go, well, I think they asked some senator in the 60s, sort of, what's pornography? And he said, I'll know it when I see it. And I have a simple lasagna test. If I'm eating lasagna and I see this commercial and I have to put my fork down, then we got to do something about this. But as I've always said, when I would watch, I couldn't wrap my head around our society because I would watch Survivor. And in Survivor, they would have a challenge. And it'd be like the red meat challenge, where they take a shank of raw beef and they hang it from a hook, and you guys had to tie your hands behind your back and see how much raw beef your team could eat in 5 minutes. And everyone's face was bloody and full of goo. And it's like you wanted to yak. You wanted to boot watching this. It was a definite put your fork down if you were eating lasagna. But later on in that episode, when one of the supermodels was scurrying up the cargo net and her bikini bottom came down 3 inches, they would have to tile out her ass crack.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that was
censored. Like, what kind of society have we crafted that I can't see some model ass crack, but I can see this fat guy going at a pig's ass that isn't even cooked? Or some, we've got maggots on this hamburger and you got to eat it,
But you can't see an ass crack.
There's something about, fear factor would tile out a chick's boob popping out, but they would show people chugging goat cum out of a boot.
Excuse me, that was donkey cum.
Donkey cum out of a boot. So it's either offensive or it's not offensive, is what I'm saying. And these commercials, first there was the little gremlin that lived under your toenails, which drove me nuts. Mm-hmm. Then it got worse because then it went into the phlegm family. And it was that weird green phlegm guy.
The mucus guy.
The mucus guy.
Yeah.
He would move into your lungs. And I had to see the mucus family living in your lungs. And that was bad. And then there's this one. It's the Upwork zombie commercial. It's the boss who's the zombie whose arms are falling off and face is falling off. If you're a 5-year-old and you're watching this shit, you are not going to bed that night. Like, you are totally freaked out. They run this goddamn thing at 4 p.m. all day, every day. Like, there is no safe harbor for it. We can show you a little of it. It's like the old boss who's been dead.
Back when I had a working circulatory system, you
Shakes
had to give
hands.
your right arm to find great
His
talent.
arm falls off.
But
Dismemberment.
there's highly skilled talent from all over the globe, right at your fingertips.
His face
It's
is
where businesses meet great remote talent, and remote talent meets great
It's
opportunity.
grotesque.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying it's a grotesque zombie from an R-rated movie from the 70s.
Aren't you trying to make people happy when you're doing a commercial? Aren't you? Why are you trying to turn them off?
I don't know what the fungus guy's doing. I don't know what the Mucinex guy's doing. I don't know what the upload guy.
What's the ad agency doing?
I avert my gaze, and I love the gaze.
I know,
but
Your
I
eyesight
avert
as well.
it. Like
Yeah.
I literally put my hand up and go. I don't want to. I don't want to see this.
The NBA playoffs are right now, and I've been watching a lot of it, and they run the spot for Evil Dead Rise all the time. This is a basketball game, and it's. Have you seen these commercials for this movie that's coming out?
No.
It's akin to the Hollywood Horror Nights or Halloween Horror Nights that we would see, but just crazy images of dead zombie woman.
Yes, you're watching that with your kids. Look, I'm not a prude or Pollyannish, but I'm a human, and I just don't like to see grotesque things.
And like you said about that last commercial you just played, I remember the first time I saw Thriller by Michael Jackson. I had nightmares about it. This is just a normal commercial running 24/7, and you could only watch Thriller on MTV at a certain time. You know what I mean? It was at night, and I stayed up and watched it and had nightmares about it.
Oh, that's right. They'd have to run it after 10 o'clock
After 10
or
o'clock.
something.
And this all the time, 24/7. And I remember like the commercials that were supposed to be disgusting when we were growing up. They had more class. Like Raid, you remember the roaches and stuff? They were cartoon characters, but they were funny.
Yeah,
They've lost
cute.
the fun part about it and made it gross. You know?
Yeah. Strikes me that you may have had a Michael Jackson period in your life.
Huge Michael Jackson.
Oh, like
Huge.
did you get the jacket?
I got the wallet.
Oh, there's got to
the
be
Thriller
pictures.
wallet.
Are there pictures?
There are no pictures because we didn't. I mean, people didn't take pictures like that. I think growing up, my parents probably took 17 pictures of me. That's it.
Total.
I have them all. I have them all.
Yeah. But you're a real fan if you have a dedicated wallet, because not everybody sees
but not
that.
just that. I had the red jacket.
I knew you did.
I did with the zippers,
I
the
knew
beaded
it.
jacket, the beaded jacket.
You had the beaded jacket.
I had the pants. I had the shoes. I had the socks. I had the glove. My mom bought me the glove, and I've never seen him perform.
This is just walking around.
This is just walking around. Yes, I would dress like that to school.
Really?
Oh, dude, that was all me, man. That was all me.
What was your hair like?
Oh, it wasn't like that.
Okay.
I mean, it was like but I had big curls back then. But yeah, that was Michael Jackson. I mean, that was me growing up. That was my guy.
He's an icon.
You know, and back then they would sell like all these little wallets, these little keychains at the Michael Jackson keychains. I had everything. Michael Jackson.
I went through a Pat Benatar phase myself.
Really? That doesn't sound as fun.
It was confusing.
That was weird.
Michael Jackson was you didn't go, you were older.
No,
you didn't really get into it.
No. Here was my thing. I couldn't pull anything off, and I didn't want to get caught trying. We didn't have enough money for a jacket or a glove or belt or wallet, my family, and I wasn't even going to attempt to do anything. And also, I mean, maybe, I may have inadvertently gone off, had a little Peter Brady phase or something, because I sort of looked like one of the Brady kids when I was 13. But no, I couldn't pull off a look, and I didn't have enough money to fund the look.
Got you.
We
didn't have a lot of money,
disaster.
but that would be that jacket. I remember when I got that jacket. You know where it was? I still remember walking into Chess King. It was in Chess King, a clothing store back in the day, and it was hanging on the left. And I walked in, and my mom says, "This is the only thing we're going to get you this year for a present." And because it was expensive. It was like $120. That was a lot of money, you know? And I was like, I want that. And I wore that thing everywhere. Everywhere I wore that jacket.
Were you trying to do the moonwalk?
Oh,
Were you
all
trying
of
to
it.
sing?
Adam?
Kick.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
kick.
I'm Michael Yo, but I was Michael Jackson back then. Yeah.
Wow.
I was in it, deep in
Could
it.
you sing a little?
Never.
Could you dance a little?
Yes. My teachers, because I was like third, fourth grade. When I was so I would, they had talent shows. So I would do I would impersonate Michael Jackson and all that stuff at the talent shows and do break dancing. That was big at the time as well. So I was that guy.
You just pop and lock?
I did. I just did. Yeah, you see. So I got the moves, Adam.
Yeah, I just a little gleam in your eye when you brought up Michael Jackson.
saw how excited I got, right?
Enough for me to picture you buying that jacket and the wallet and the pants and the shoes.
Everything.
I knew it.
But at my time, he was the biggest artist in the world. That was the guy.
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy.
No,
Was this a popular look in your school? Like everybody wearing that
You
jacket.
got to understand, when you're in 4th or 5th grade, Michael Jackson was, there's so many different artists. I don't even know all the artists today, but back then, Michael Jackson was there. It didn't matter. You could be 5 years old. You could be 80 years old. You knew Michael Jackson.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
I guess enough of the girls were getting into the Madonna look.
The Madonna was big.
That was a power move back then for the chicks. So the chicks were probably in the Madonna, and the guys were in the Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Madonna was because I can do what I want with my body, and I'm crazy, I'm sexy, and I can have sex with anybody, and that's what the girls loved back then. You know what I mean? And that was like she broke a trend of like Tiffany and all these girls where they were innocent, wore that little hat, and that same little stereotypical round hat, and like Debbie Gibson and all, and I loved them, but Madonna was the first one that was like, yo, y'all are lame. Y'all are prude. I'm going to bring
all these
it.
phases. Like I remember growing up, mine was Avril, like because that was super popular when I was in high school. So girls would come in wearing ties.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was her look.
I tell everybody, like, there are a lot of #1 hits, but there are only a very few artists that create trends that everybody does. Michael Jackson did it. Avril Lavigne did it, actually, with the tie. You know, but they're like I said, they're a huge artist. Madonna did it with all the little
fishnet gloves,
fishnet gloves and all that. But they're like I said, there are a lot of great songs, but there are very few artists that created trends where everybody started dressing like them.
That was weird. I always knew that shit was folly. Like I was like, I don't know.
Even at a young age?
You know, it's at a young age, I was very much, and I always was. My whole world was sort of like, you're impersonating this person that's famous, but then you're busted and living in North Hollywood in a shit shack with 2 parents that hate you. Like, how is you looking like this person that you're not going to do anything to move your needle whatsoever? And I was always insanely pragmatic that way. Now, I would love to have been the actual person, but the replica of that person felt sort of tinny to me. And look, kids are kids, and that they do what they do. But when I was young, I just sort of had no time for any trends, any styles, any mimicry, any worship of celebrities.
Even 4th and 5th grade? What about a ball player, like a sports player?
I loved, let's say, when, like, let's say Dr. J was huge and you try to, do a move on the basketball court where kind of, but I didn't have the poster. I always knew they were them, I was me, and me sort of trying to mimic them was not going to get me any closer to where I wanted to be.
Now, we are different in that, but we are the same in one thing. I never played with toys. And it's so interesting raising kids that love to play with toys. Like, I never played with toys. My mom would ask me to play with toys, but I had that attitude. What is this doing for me?
Right.
Like, they're fake. They're not real. What am I supposed to do with this? So I would do other things, play outside, play sports, but I'd never play with. I was the only kid, because back then G.I. Joe was huge.
Yeah.
I was the only kid that didn't have G.I. Joe Cobra because I thought it was stupid.
Yeah, they're below you.
I was like, this is ridiculous.
I immediately labeled it gay. You're sitting around playing with a dude figurine all day. We could be out in the yard kicking the shit out of each other. What are we doing in here?
We could be grabbing each other instead of playing.
Yeah, gay. It's gay. I could have you in a half Nelson with my shirt off right now.
Not gay. Not gay, though.
Behind you in a full Nelson, wearing nothing but underpants.
That's right. We're both in our underoos.
Yeah. I don't know. I was the same way. Like, I felt the same way about G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I felt the same way about comic books. Like, what am I sitting around reading this for? Let's go find a roof and a swimming pool and see if we can make it from the roof into the swimming pool. That's a plan.
That was the plan, to try to kill yourself as a young person because you don't know any better. You're like, that's a great idea. Did you watch cartoons, though?
Yes.
Okay, I did too.
I watched the shit out of cartoons because I didn't read and I had nothing else to do except for watch cartoons. But I watched Speed Racer. What
a great cartoon.
I watched balls to the wall action kind of cars, and I loved all that shit.
Now, don't lie to me, Adam. Did you watch Josie and the Pussycats?
I would watch any animated offering that they put in front of me. So my life, my childhood was like, you ever go to like a place where they're going to do like a lube on your car, change the oil, re-lube the ball joints or something, or like some place. It's always like a tire place where you're going to get a new set of tires on the car. And then the guy goes, yeah, just drop it off and you come pick it up Thursday at noon. And then you show up Thursday at noon and then the guy comes back in and goes, give us a couple more minutes because they haven't touched it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're there because you got dropped off. And now you're sitting in the lounge. And you're just sitting there with those chairs that are connected to each other. And you start looking around. Now, this is before the iPhone.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some magazine called, Friendly Tire. And then it's like snow tires, friend or foe, or chains, when to use them, And you pick it up and you start like leafing through it. And you're like, bi-supply versus radial tires. What should I be using? But it's not interesting.
No.
And you would never look at it if you were sitting at home, but you're kind of trapped.
Yeah, they had all those RIM magazines.
You just had to, you had to browse something because there were no smartphones and you were there for an hour and 15 minutes. You weren't going anywhere. You had to pick up whatever's close. You could pick up a brochure for struts, you know what I mean? Or when to get your alignment done or something. You'd start reading. You realize your brain, like when a prisoner befriends a bird in a cell. You know what I mean? Like, I hate birds. I don't like birds. I don't want to befriend birds. But if you lock me in a cell for 23 hours out of the day, I will fucking make friends with a bird.
I'm like that. I'm like that when you go to a doctor's office. You pick up brochures of shit you don't even have. You're like, what's this? Oh, this disease. I've never seen this.
What are my risks of ovarian cancer?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, what are some of the warning signs?
Yeah. I pick up everything. I just start reading.
No, that's what my childhood was like. So I would just sit and turn on the TV and Speed Racer and Kim of the White Line would come on, or Josie and the Pussycats, or the Flintstones, or whatever popped up. I was obligated to watch.
But also, didn't they only come on one day? So you had to watch it. They didn't come on every day.
Saturday morning thing.
Wasn't it?
Speed Racer would come on like every day at like 5 or something, something like that. But then there was Saturday morning cartoons,
blocks.
And I would watch that.
Dude, that was great.
Straight through. All right, changing gears here from nostalgia to modern day. Somebody tweeted me a crow picking up landmines in, I guess, well, they should be in Croatia if you really think about it, but they're not. They're in Ukraine, I think. And I did a little deep dive on this because, Michael, you don't know this, but I've long said that we need to harness crows, use them for utility, use them for protection. I wanted attack crows to protect me. I wanted police forces to use crows. They're smarter than shit. People send me videos of them solving puzzles like all the time to get a kernel of corn. They send me other videos of them picking up cigarette butts and putting them in a trash can, like in parks in Europe. They're smart. They're super smart, and they can be nasty. And I watched a video that said there's these landmines. Now, there's landmines that blow up tanks.
Yes.
And then there are landmines that just blow your foot off. And, in times of war, blowing a guy's foot off is pretty much as good as shooting him.
Yeah.
He's out. He's out of the match. So they have these little landmines, and I think they're like 3.8 ounces, and they just scatter them all over the place because we're the worst.
That's what you do.
Everyone's the worst. It's fucking horrible. They're Soviet created, and they will be triggered by you stepping on it or kicking it or something like that. Now, they don't go off when they drop them from the airplane because they have like a timed fuse. So they drop them from the airplane, they scatter them all over the woods, and then they arm them.
Yeah.
And then anyone that comes near them just blows their leg off. Horrible. But there's been some footage of crows picking them up.
Now, do they blow up?
It's possible, but they don't seem to have enough. It would take enough sort of power, like your thumb and your forefinger, like pushing something in to do it. I guess you'd kind of have to step on it.
Okay.
Would be the way they're designed. And the crows are capable of carrying like 8 ounces, which is pretty hefty. If you picture a water bottle that's 2/3 full, 3/4 full or whatever. These things weigh like 2.7 ounces, so they can easily carry these things. And we don't know whether they're like being trained to pick them up and throw them on the other side of the enemy's line.
Is that what they're doing? Dropping them on the other?
They're picking them up, carrying them, and dropping them. But the point is we could easily do this. Like if somebody said to me, Adam, here's a hamper, go out into that minefield and pick up all these mines, and for every hamper full you bring back, we'll give you a piece of corn. I'd be like, fuck right off. There's no way I'm doing that. But the bird will do anything
for the corn.
A couple pieces of corn.
That's valuable corn.
And they will protect you. They will pick up litter. They can fly. We saw the other day, they were flying like 35 miles an hour next to a car that was motoring down the highway. Somebody's got to utilize these things.
And they have
something.
And correct me about their beak is like pretty. I mean, it could puncture right through you, right?
Imagine this, Michael Yo. Imagine there was some crazed homeless guy, right? And he's in some intersection in Los Angeles, and he's swinging a machete around, and he's yelling, "I'm going to kill everyone," right? And then what do the cops do? They show up. They fire the beanbag at him, and all it does is piss him off more, right? Then at some point, they try to fire like a taser thing, but that doesn't really work either. And they keep yelling at him to drop the machete, and he won't. And eventually, 140 rounds go into the guy.
Yeah.
He's gone, right? All right. Imagine if 3 crows came at his head hard.
Are you saying the cop car, they opened up the back door and crows?
Boom, boom, boom. He'd be on the ground in the fetal position, hands overhead, machete dropped, begging to be arrested.
Now, can they be trained? Do you know that?
We can.
Well, look at that, man. They
They're
look mean.
insanely smart.
They look mean. Ben, you can find it, but somebody a couple days ago tweeted me of them solving puzzle problems.
Yeah.
Literally stacking cups that were graduated in size, grabbing one, throwing it out, grabbing the next one to fit. Just fast as they could do it, just to get a little grub. And I mean grub. I mean like a little baby mealworm or corn or something.
There it is.
Yeah, there's one where he's fitting it. He keeps trying different shapes and different sizes.
There's a circle-shaped piece.
There's another one where he stacks it.
That one is the dumb one then, because it keeps. There he goes. Yeah.
Then he gets the star, and he he starts in the right place with the star. You can find the stacker one, Ben. There's one where he stacks it.
There it is.
But they figure it out fast.
Yeah.
And they would definitely fly at the dude with the machete and go right at his head, and it would work.
Oh. Anytime, have you ever had a bird fly in your house?
Yes.
It's horrifying. Literally, you move like there's an armed gunman in your house. And you're always, it's so scary till that bird gets out of it. The fear a human being has of a bird in their house.
Yeah, if they knew how afraid
if they knew, they would take over the world.
Yeah, this is their world.
Yeah. The only thing you can do, I just had one the other day flying to my house. The only thing you can do is open up the door they flew in bit more.
Yes,
if it's a sliding door that was open 2 feet, you got to open up 6 feet and pray that they fly out. And then at some point they fly into the glass that's right next to the opening. And then you start yelling at them like you can reason with them, no, to your left. That's you. You're flying. That's not. Yeah.
I remember I was chasing this bird around with a broom, and I've never been so scared in my life of this bird because they zoom at you.
They'll dive at you, yeah.
I mean, they could really do some damage if they hit you.
What does this story say, Chris?
So these birds, the crows, they're in Ukraine. They're picking up landmines from nearby battlefields. So they're putting people far from the front lines at risk. So this crow theory emerged after multiple landmines detonated in areas that have already been cleared by ordnance disposal workers, causing several serious injuries. A woman severely injured her leg. A 46-year-old lost his foot stepping on a mine just while checking power lines in his village. These aren't places where mines are usually.
There's no damn
planted.
way that the Russians or the Chinese don't have some program going.
Or us. Yeah.
It's impossible. We will fund anything, and especially if it has some sort of military application,
Right.
we will do it.
Anything that could give us even a slight edge, we would explore.
What is one thing you think that the military is hiding that they have?
When I was a kid, there was a movie called Day of the Dolphin, and it was about the Navy training dolphins to go down and get like mines at sea or recover like shit from the bottom of the sea and whatever. And it was a movie, but then it was like, no, they will definitely do it. You could never do better. Like all the drones and all the nerds and all the propellers and all the batteries could never do the same job that a murder of crows did on an open field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Never. It's called a murder, by the way. But you never, like 80 crows all going to do the same job. You just couldn't. You couldn't have some kid with VR goggles on even come close to what nature could do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the next thing. Animals are going to be, I mean, they do it in the police with dogs, of course, but I think there's so much more opening where, you could, like you said, the crows or the dolphins, I think that's going to be next too, using animals more in warfare. And they will. Or now they got those robots and who knows, man. It's scary out there.
Think about this like little thought experiment. Yeah, that's the vid I want to see, but think about this thought experiment. The greatest MIT with funding by Honda and all the greatest minds in the world, if they tried to build a robot to do, if you ever see that footage of like a cheetah running down a gazelle in slow motion, we're 200 years away from a robot being able to do that. Like the robot can go forward and it might be able to walk upright, might even be able to jog a little bit, but picture what that cheetah is doing when it's chasing that gazelle. As they show the slow motion footage of how it cuts and digs in and, all the maneuverability and stuff. Well, then what's a drone going to do compared to a crow? If you think about it, it's kind of the same difference. All right, show me that first video. I'm sorry, the stacker. You had the first video, the one I said is the video, Ben.
This is just a better angle.
Oh, okay. The crow's stacking.
So we have cups.
Yeah,
okay.
They're bigger and
It's
smaller.
like Russian doll-esque, but
Pulls out the smaller cup. Puts the bigger cup in. Took another cup out. Put the one that fit in right. Put the next one. All
and
right.
then goes for the treat.
You tell me that thing couldn't attack a homeless guy with a machete?
Yeah. it could.
Easily.
No.
Yeah.
It'll
As
take
long
him
as the
out.
machete's like under 8 ounces, that homeless guy's screwed.
He's taking it away. Yeah. They will do our bidding. We could have done with them what the Wicked Witch did with the flying monkeys. My pretties. We could summon
Oh my
them.
God.
They could do our bidding.
Yeah, you were scared of just one bird flying around your house.
I
and
mean,
that-
a flock of birds? No way. Get it out of here.
Listen, school shootings. I said every single big box store, every single, IKEA or Costco or whatever, every single place where some nut job comes in and starts shooting at people, put the crows up in the rafters, right down at the head. I mean, the guy would get a shot off, maybe two.
And then the crows would get him.
But that would be it.
Yeah.
It's just crows would be patrolling every store. You walk in, and crows are just up at the top like, It's looking at it.
yeah.
It's a new video camera. Except it's just crows.
Yeah.
Just like checking out everybody.
I'm telling you, they're now moving landmines. I've been talking about this for 25 years. They're going into military zones now. I don't know who's controlling them. We'll have to figure it out.
Look, nobody's listening, so why don't you start? Just command some crows, make some friends, give them their treats. Make your own army and show
Carolla
people.
crows.
Once you get them young and you start training them, they'll bring you gifts. They literally will bring you trinkets and shiny things.
It's all about starting them young.
You got to start them young. All right, I got more to convey. Yo's going to hang in, and we'll do that right after this. Let me tell you about fast-growing trees. From shade to fresh fruit. Breathe some life into your backyard. Do it this spring with fastgrowingtrees.com. Their experts curate thousands of plants, so you'll find the perfect fit for whatever unique climate you live in. Their plant experts are always available to help keep your plants healthy throughout the season. No long lines and hauling heavy plants around. Order online. Your plants are shipped right to your door in just a few days. I use these guys. I have their plants. They're flourishing because they give you the right plant for the right climate that you're in. Plus, they have a 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee. So you know everything will look great, fresh out of the box. There's really nothing better you can do for your home than put up fresh trees and get some produce off of those. Like everyone in certain areas should have a lemon tree for sure, and avocado for that matter. It is fast-growing trees, right, Dawson?
Join over 1.5 million happy fast-growing trees customers. Go to fastgrowingtrees.com/Adam now to get 15% off your entire order. Get 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com/Adam.
Just thrive. Got so much stress in your life. Sometimes you just want to hit the pause button and breathe. Just Calm from Just Thrive can help. Just Calm's all-natural blend of mood-lifting psychobiotics and brain-nourishing B vitamins helps you take back control and feel like your most cool and collected self. Multiple studies prove it works quickly to soothe everyday stress and sharpen focus in as little as 4 weeks. I take this stuff and I can feel the difference. Or you can try Just Thrive Probiotic. That's the one I take. A spore probiotic that banishes gas, bloat, so your gut can produce more serotonin, your happy hormone. Plus, it supports better sleep. This is a real product. I love this company. I went out to dinner with these guys. They are the real deal. And, I had an interview with Tina Anderson. She's the brains behind this product along with her husband. I take it every day. I don't know what else to tell you. Give it a try. Just Thrive, right, Dawson?
With Just Calm and Just Thrive Probiotic, you'll have the ultimate stress-fighting duo to help you feel cool, collected, and in control. Get 20% off your first 90-day bottle of Just Calm and Just Thrive Probiotic today. Visit justthrivehealth.com and use promo code Adam. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey Adam, Ted in Phoenix here. I got a little thought experiment for you. How many inches of height would you be willing to lose to gain how many inches of length down there, if you know what I mean? All right, guys. Talk to you later.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
It's interesting, but I think I'd keep it the way I am.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't change a thing.
Chris?
I made that deal
well,
with
you're the
devil
shortest
already.
person here. Yeah, you're like, how tall are you?
5'4". Yeah.
Yeah. How tall are you, Adam?
6'2".
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I've found, but you guys can tell me, I have found that most women like a nice dick versus a big dick.
That's what they tell me. Yeah. So I hope that's true.
Yeah, well, I mean, what do they say? Of course, if you watch porn, they got these monsters out there, right? But most women just want, like, this is what they say in the research: 6 to 8. That's happy for them.
6 to 8.
6 to 8.
Wow, I didn't know we're going up to 8.
That's what the research says, So.
Well, I gotta say, yeah, 6'2".
That sounds about right, though.
But let me try to figure this out, because at this point, 6'2". So, who am I trying to impress? Sports are gone.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time when I was playing football. I was like, he's 6'2", 210. You know, you needed that on your scouting report or something, you know. But those days are long gone. Being a little lower to the ground would be better when I'm training my crows.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have to be bent over all the way, you know. And I fly Southwest enough to know that I would be. Chris is as cursed as he is with his diminutive height. For that 90 minutes to Phoenix. He's the belle of the ball on that Southwest flight. He's fucking got his feet stuck straight out. Yeah. They're not even touching the carpet.
I'm stretched
They're just
out
dangling.
He puts them on the tray.
I got my fucking knees wedged up against the seat in front of me.
Yeah.
It's brutal. So, like, at this point, if you eliminate sports and then, you know, just the sort of general aesthetic, you know, when you're 19, you want to be a little taller than the dude at the bar, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But at this point,
you have nothing to prove.
Nothing to prove. Fly enough economy to know I'd have an easier time on the knees if I dropped it down to like 5'11".
Okay, so let's
in the dick department.
Yeah, so an inch for an inch. How many inches would you go down? 3? Then?
Well, I'd have to throw tape on my hog because
an inch for an inch. That shouldn't be the ratio.
Why not? An inch of height for an inch of
I
dick.
could drop to 6 and 5 7/8. No, I could drop down to 6 and be 8. And here's what I have to figure out, because this is all I want out of the dick department.
Okay.
And I think it's all we all want, what we want for our sons as well.
Yes.
This is all I want, but I need enough for this, and I can't really pull it off now. I think you want enough in the dick department to be able to clamp onto the base and still have enough to kind of work with.
Yes.
That's
right.
That's the porn star move back then. You know, when you grab
Not back
on.
then, still today.
You grab that base and there's still enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely.
So I'd have to throw tape on it. I'd have to measure my hand.
Hand size comes into play,
hand
too.
size factor in. But yeah, I think I could drop down to 6 foot.
This is all I was thinking of because I'm such a radio guy. When he says, this is all I want in the dick department, I was like, that's a clip. Somebody's going to take that clip and just Adam just going, this is all I want in the dick department.
Yeah.
Hand on the base.
Yeah.
Still enough to work with.
Porn star style. That's what you
right.
want.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, and every guy would be happy with that.
Speaking possibly of a larger than average junk, I don't know if you're familiar with the Black Information Network.
No.
Oh, it's the most
Black
awesome.
Information Network?
It's the most awesome radio station on the dial.
Is this on Sirius?
No, there's something going on with FM terrestrial radio where there's 17 channels in between the old channels I used to listen
The
to.
H2 and H3s and all
There's
that.
everything, and I stumbled on to the Black Information Network because I'm driving my daughter's car, and somehow I'm able to find it on her car, her tuner, and I'm fascinated with it. So I tell Chris, I like the stings. I like the production. Do you have some of that, Dawson?
I'm Mike Island, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Republicans want to tie a debt ceiling increase to federal spending cuts. Democrats called the GOP bill an extreme MAGA wish list.
When you need to know.
This is where Black news comes first.
This is BIN on iHeartRadio.
Entertainment news on the Black Information Network.
You're half black, right?
Yeah, of course I am. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this.
You can listen just out of one speaker.
Just one side of the brain accepts it.
Yeah, keep it going. I'm enamored with it.
The first trailer is being released for the third chapter in the Equalizer franchise.
The power of information.
Black news here and now. This is BIN on iHeartRadio.
Race is turning out to be a major issue in the Indianapolis, Indiana mayor's race. 3 of the 8 candidates vying for the position are black, and all of the candidates are being grilled on their relationships with the black community and how they will handle racial disparities. Although 29% of the city's population is black, Indianapolis has never had a woman or person of color as its top leader. Black Republicans James Jackson, Abdul Hakim Shabazz, and Democrat Representative Robin Shackelford, who is also black, are hoping to change that.
The Black Information
See,
Network.
I like it because it lets you know who's black.
Yeah, I need to know that.
Like,
It just didn't lead you to think one side.
no,
on that.
they'll go podiatrist, Ron McDonald, who's black? So you could be interested.
Journalism at work.
But also it's good because it shows there's black people on the Republican side too. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I like. That's what I like. It shows both sides. That's what that was for, Ed. I'm half black. I'm the spokesman for BIN. Thank you
need to
so
explain
much.
this.
Thank you. I have to
Do we
explain
have
this.
any more of that?
Oh, there's more.
Oh, there's more. I told Chris, just keep recording. I can't get enough of it. I listened to it all the way home.
Bong, bong,
Yeah.
bong.
The Black Information Network on iHeartRadio. This is a BIN Tech Report. It's an unfortunate fact that black men and women are underrepresented in the technology field, but there are exceptions.
Oh,
For
pause
instance,
it.
You may not.
All right. Now let's test my memory. Because I told Chris, just tape this randomly.
This is just
But I was in my car listening yesterday. Black men and women are underrepresented in the tech field, but did you know that there was a black inventor and he came up with the first game console that had interchangeable cartridges? Like you could pull this one out, and never played a video game in my life, but you didn't just get the closed box and you had to play
like
this.
a Nintendo cartridge.
Pop the cartridge out, pop it back in. This dude, whose name escapes me, was always a tech head, worked doing TV repair and other forms of electronics before he was, picked up by, Xbox or whatever. Did all this pioneering, died early at the age of 70. That's what I got. Let's see.
This is a BIN Tech Report. It's an unfortunate fact that black men and women are underrepresented in the technology field, but there are exceptions. For instance, you may not know the name Gerald Lawson, but you should, especially if you've ever used the Sony PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, or Xbox. Lawson created the first home video game system that used interchangeable cartridges, offering gamers a chance to play a variety of games.
It was cut.
It kept going on.
I know. All these things are like all these segments are like a minute and a half long. So
find his bio. He repaired TVs.
I didn't think that you were gonna dive in like
That's
that.
how I listen intently. And then he died at the age of 70. Too soon.
Adam's going to add a new feature to the show called Black Fact.
Repaired TVs
Black
and died
facts.
at 70 are both correct.
Hold on. He died at 70 and he worked with TV. Yeah.
See, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm fucking
I just want you to come in
multicultural.
here and just drop this knowledge on us every
I
day.
just want to see the visual of Adam driving his car, listening to BIN.
I do want that. Yeah, windows down, subwoofer just banging in his trunk.
I love black facts. I love black facts.
Well, I can't help it. I'm hooked. I think we'd be living in a better country
We would.
if more people that looked like me checked out BIN on their way back to their lily white neighborhoods.
That's right. That's right. Get out of Beverly Hills. If you're in Beverly Hills, listen to BIN.
You got the sting ready? I think that sting should be behind all politicians where they go like, I believe people of color all deserve a seat at the table.
Did they steal that
love
from
it.
ABBA?
Because truth. This is
I love it.
BIN on iHeartRadio.
Why don't you have a sting on the show like
You
that?
should throw an application in over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Man,
feel
I
like
don't
you
know.
could
You
make
need
the
a-
cut.
Yeah,
Oh,
Adam will
man.
feed you lines. He knows so much now. So
Yeah, you
Black
don't have to.
Unit-
Don't do any legwork. You can
No.
listen to the country station. I'll keep you all tuned up on what's going on BIN.
You'll give me the facts.
I'll give you the facts.
Adam would just call me randomly. Hey, did you know about this guy that created the video game system? He's the first guy.
Well, I'll tell you, I learned about Garrett Morgan. Garrett Morgan was the guy who invented hair relaxer.
Oh.
Which
The source for black news.
The Black Information Network.
he also invented pineapple soda. No, he didn't invent pineapple soda.
Source
Oh, that's from very relaxed
you
hair.
can tell. His hair is
Yeah.
very
He invented hair relaxer, and I was a little dubious. I was like, okay, that's hardly.
That's a big thing in the black community.
But it's not the cotton gin, you know what I mean?
No.
It's not the space program. It's the hair relaxer. But he didn't stop this Garrett Morgan. He went on and invented the stoplight, and he invented gas masks for the army.
Look at that.
Yeah, he did. Read his bio. I had a whole new appreciation for this guy.
That's the gas mask? Look like how the Klan started. Right? That's the first uniform for the Klan.
Garrett?
Garrett made the Klan uniform. I didn't know that, Garrett.
He started off slow with the hair relaxer, but he moved on to stoplights, and he kept going, Garrett.
I love that you know black facts, Adam.
Oh, hell yeah.
And is this because I'm here?
You know.
Black news all day, every
Black
day.
news all day, Adam Carolla.
I should apply. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, maybe I could break that
little
that
celebrity
barrier.
shot there. Yeah.
Yeah. I could be like Kevin Love.
The basketball player?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he's
Kevin
out.
Love.
He's playing the playoffs right
in the
now.
playoffs.
He's the only white dude on the court.
Oh, okay.
The source for black news.
I get it
There's
now. I
9
get it.
angry black men and Kevin Love.
Why they got to be angry, Adam? Why aren't they just basketball players? How about that?
The source for black news.
I was just thinking of the title of that movie. The 12 Angry Men. No, there's Kevin Love out there representing.
You're the Kevin Love of the black community. Is that what you're saying?
Of BIN.
Okay.
I for certainly could be part of that. Yeah. Plus, I could walk into that fucking office and go, oh, you think you know more about black history than I do? Who invented hair relaxer, bitch?
Yeah.
Who's the guy who invented the Game Boy? Come on.
Yeah.
You wanna keep going?
Look at that. Look at that.
I'll tell you the name of the bitch who modified the ironing board. Who's also a black woman.
What's her
inventor.
name? What's her name? Tell him, Adam. Tell him, Adam.
I got to get the wristband going for that. The Tom Brady quarterback wristband. I can't commit everything to memory.
What a cheat sheet on your arm.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, I'm very happy today. You told me a couple black facts I didn't know. So every time I come in, you got to give me black facts now.
Okay.
That'll be our thing.
We can do that.
And can you throw in some Asian facts too?
Oh.
I'd like some of those myself.
Yeah.
You know, because I am both, you know.
That's right.
You're not representing me well.
We don't have a
Right.
stinger for that.
Yeah, we got to get we got to
Yeah, it's dong da da dong 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 dong. That would be the stinger for that one.
All right. You want to do a little news, Chris?
Yeah.
Get started?
Yeah, sure. So, speaking of black actors in entertainment, Jamie Foxx. I know that he was the number one trending topic today because he remains hospitalized more than 3 weeks after they announced he suffered a medical emergency. So, sources close to the actor, per TMZ, echoed this plea, quote, "Pray for Jamie." And it's a possible indication that things with the actor's health may not be improving as much as fans had hoped they would be by this point. Now, remember, on April 12th, Jamie's daughter announced that Jamie experienced a medical complication the day prior, rushed to the hospital. They've been really radio silent about what's been going on. Just pray for him and people.
But he came out with a tweet today. This was his first. Today he came out with a tweet, I believe, just an hour ago or something like that. Came out with a tweet and said he thanked all his fans for all the love and appreciation and things like that. I believe. I believe I'm correct in that.
Yeah.
Do we know he was doing it though?
Yeah. I mean, maybe a person from his team or something like that. Right. But I've interviewed him several times.
Yeah.
Nicest guy from around Dallas, Texas. He's around a little bit outside of Dallas. But, and I've said this before, you know, like the most talented person in the industry. Yeah. That's just all the love.
Yeah. The most talented. Everyone can agree on that.
And most talented, just a lovely person. And, you know, you're hearing different stories. It came out that he had a stroke, and then he had a heart attack. And I talked to a couple doctors, and they were like, oh, you would want a stroke? Wait, no, you would want a heart attack over a stroke? And I don't know if that's true, because a stroke can actually affect parts of your body, where a heart attack, if you survive.
There's more permanent damage.
Can I tell you?
I don't know, though. I'm not.
Can I tell you what I learned on BIN?
Yes.
Driving home yesterday after marveling at the guy who invented Atari. Black men are 70 times higher risk of stroke than white men.
It's true.
There is something called the stroke belt. It basically goes through Indiana and in the middle of the country where black men get tons of strokes. And when you get a stroke, you have to know the early warning signs, because if you can get in and get to the hospital fairly quickly, they can give you anti-clotting drugs that'll break it up. But if you just go, my arm's numb, I'm going to bed, you can be really fucked up by a stroke. That's what I learned on BIN.
Adam Carolla's bringing it, baby.
This is BIN on iHeartRadio.
I was like 70 times. I really couldn't tell if I said 7 times higher.
You're right.
You can
Indiana's
look it
in the center of this.
I listened to the BIN.
I love it.
And I learned everything. I thought it said 70 times. I was like driving going, 70 times or 7? 70 times black men, it said 70 times higher likelihood of a stroke.
Did they say why? Is it because of the food, or is it because just hereditary or
genetics?
Genetics.
I think everything plays a factor in everything all the
Income,
time.
Everything.
Yeah, your diet, hereditary, stress, everything that goes along with it. But did you know there was a black man stroke belt?
I've never heard of the stroke belt before today.
You got to listen to PIN. I didn't know it either. But there's a belt. Don't ever move there, Michael.
That belt. No. I will never be in that belt. I'll tell you that.
Go to that belt.
No, never. I'm not even touring in that belt.
the belt is where?
That's a pretty big belt, man.
I know. I wish I was good. You're showing me the picture of the states without any names on them, and I wish I was good enough to tell you which ones were which, but you're going to have to be a little more specific other than showing me an outline of a state.
How is Florida not in that? That's all I'm wondering. How's Florida?
Yeah, Florida dodged that belt.
Yeah, they did dodge the belt.
Yeah.
But everything around Florida, Louisiana.
Everything above Florida.
Yeah, a little bit of everything right above
Can
Florida.
you name those states?
Carolinas,
No, I'm dumb.
Tennessee.
You can take the graphic that doesn't have any names on it off
Louisiana,
of the screen.
Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama.
Yeah.
We can figure that one out. But there's Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia.
A lot of fried chicken. A lot of fried chicken, a lot of fried foods. That's what that is.
Well, that's the black stroke belt. So don't even go there. I wouldn't even book a gig there.
No, I'm not. I'm never going to any of those places.
I think you need to look at your calendar.
Yeah, right.
You may have to cancel some gigs.
Yeah. I went to the University of Arkansas, though.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, for like a year and a half. I played football up there.
It's too late for him,
but I was young, so I wasn't in the belt then. I was too young.
What is it? 70 times higher? Because
it's 70 or 17.
No, he's at 70. They're saying 70. That's unbelievable.
But that's
70 times higher the rate to have a stroke.
That is enough to definitely do not move there.
Wow. It has to be the food, the fried everything, the income, because you're always going to these restaurants that you can get like a whole meal for $3. Mm-hmm. Everything is fried in that area.
It is 70%.
Wow.
70. 70%.
But 50% more likely to die from a stroke anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean that's 20% higher.
Yeah.
So if you look at it like that, 70 is a big number. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And where the Hispanics come down and the non-whites or the whites, we can figure that one out. But anyway.
Well, they're 70% more likely to have a stroke compared to a non-Hispanic, to Hispanic. But then I think it said, 50% more likely to have it. What was it, Ben? Put it back up.
50% more. Play the sting, Dawson.
Yeah.
When we run
Get us out of this.
African Americans are 50% more likely to have a stroke as compared to their white adult counterparts. But black men are 70% more likely to die from a stroke as compared to non-Hispanic whites.
Black facts. Carolla.
Now I'm sitting here getting anxiety. Like, why am I not in the car? What am I missing? You know what I mean? Like, could be a lot of information flying around that I don't know about.
You are not getting this. You're missing out.
That's pretty interesting, man. That's crazy.
Well, we wish Jamie a speedy recovery.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so his show Beat Shazam that his daughter's on, she DJs on it. That's that Fox show where they guess the lyrics or they guess the song. So they already said that neither party are going to be involved in this upcoming season. And James Woods, he tweeted about Jamie. Now, he doesn't tweet as much as he used to, but you always love his tweets. But this is a really nice tweet, I thought. Quote, "We all know how brilliant Jamie Foxx is as an actor. My experience was how amazing he could be as a colleague. When we were shooting White House Down, I had a neck injury during a stunt thing. A few weeks later, Jamie and I had a protracted fight scene filmed over several days. I asked him to be careful, and he went beyond. It was like ballet. He protected me at every turn while making it look like total mayhem. He put my well-being over every other consideration. I had always greatly admired him as an artist, of course, but I was honored to know him for the kind and caring man he is."
I love any White House takeover movie. I watched two of them came out in the same week. The White House
They've
takeover.
taken over the White House.
Didn't it look like
a
the
lot.
same movie just with I mean,
They had
I remember
White House
that.
Down, White House has fallen. I don't know what
Olympia,
Olympus,
Olympia, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's the exact same as the volcano movies.
Pompeii?
No, there was
Volcano.
There was Volcano and
Dante's Peak.
Oh, okay.
We had, a 50-year drought of volcano movies, and then 2 volcano movies came out like the same week, and we had no White House takeover movies, and then 2 came out the same week, but I just watched the shit out of both of them.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
I
love
never
all
watched
those
either
movies.
one. Nah.
James Woods was great. He was a turncoat. Started off as the good guy, but turned
You
south.
need that for a White House movie, I think.
Olympus has fallen. Yeah, you're right.
So San Francisco, there's a couple stories coming out of San Francisco. Let's go with the first one. Nordstrom has announced that they're closing both of its stores in downtown San Francisco. So they have a regular Nordstrom and also Nordstrom Rack. Both
What
of those
about
are
the
gone.
brass rail? They still have the brass rail?
What's the brass rail?
Growing up, for me, it was called the rail, so I wonder if it's shortened to the rail, and then now they
okay.
just got rid of it. I don't
That
know.
must be a West Coast thing. I've never heard of the rail.
Well, it was
brass
like in Nordstrom.
In Nordstrom.
Oh,
Like
okay.
there's a section called the rail, which is like the hip, younger male stuff.
Gotcha. Is that where you shop at?
No, I didn't have enough money for that.
That's where you would have found your Michael Jackson jacket.
Oh, really?
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
Sears.
That was my chess king.
We did Sears and J.C. Penney and Marshalls back when Marshalls.
And Pro Wings. Did you rock the Pro Wings?
What were the Pro Wings?
Those were the cheap shoes, like the Payless shoes.
Yeah,
Pro Wings.
It was like the Nike with the extra stripe, and then like Marshalls was brand names that were kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
It was like you'd have a Hang 10 with athlete's foot or something like on it, or the label
Hang 9.
The label be upside down, or some sort of weird factory defect or something. But the Nordstrom, the brass rail they had one in the like Topanga Mall or something. They had one like deep Topanga. And when I was like 26, 27, I was like, I got to get a job. So I always worked as a carpenter, but carpentry. So I don't think what people understand is there's kind of 2 components to a job. There's 3 components, but there's money. How much do you make an hour, a week, a month, or whatever? That's fine. Like everyone understands that. And then there's a part where it's like, well, do you get time off? Like they give you a week at Christmas time, or you have to be back the next day, or there's sort of sick days, personal days, whatever. There's that kind of stuff. But then there's a third part, which is even if you have a kind of a shit job, and even if it doesn't pay much, if you have a consistent check every 2 weeks and pay stubs and shit like that, then you can go into Toyota of Alhambra and buy a shitty used truck and go, here's my job, here's my pay stubs, I've been working here for 2 years. You can rent an apartment. Yep. You have a proof of employment. When you're kind of freelance carpenter guy who's building someone a doghouse one week and then fixing some dude's fence the next week, you're a day labor. No. You're just coasting around, getting paid cash, getting personal checks and stuff like that. You can't go into the Van Nuys Toyota dealership and buy a car. They just go, "Whoa, what do you do?" You know, and you go, "Trust me, I always pay my bills." You know, they go, "I don't see anything that says you pay your bills." You know, you rent an apartment, they do a credit check. You get nothing. You live like an illegal, essentially.
Yeah.
And except for illegals have families that like them. That's the advantage. That's the only difference. They have loving family units.
That's right.
That cook for them.
Yeah.
So, and let them flop on their couch. But you have to back that out now.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting around working as a carpenter, and I'm kind of, I'm like doing groundlings, doing open mics at night, doing improv classes on the weekend. But I need some sort of semi-regular job that proves I'm alive.
Yeah.
So I can navigate trying to rent an apartment or get anything, you know. And I found out that there was some opening over at the Nordstrom, but it was doing maintenance.
Okay.
But I went and met with the head maintenance guy. I've told this story before, but it was funny. It was like kind of far away. It was in Northridge, like I was living in North Hollywood. And I went and met the guy. His name was Tom Collins. Never forget it. Named after a drink mix. And we like sat down. He said, "I think you could do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do like an 8-hour day. And then you could go take your comedy classes the other days or whatever. And you work like a 30-hour week or something like that." And we're just fixing carpet that popped up and, you know, maintenance on a place like that. I was a carpenter, you know. And then I got back to my shitty apartment in North Hollywood. And like I said to my girlfriend, it's like, you know, how'd it go? And it's like, well, we didn't discuss money, but I think the hours are good. The guy's okay. I think I could do this job, but I cannot, I'm going to need at least $13 an hour. And I just can't do it for less than that. And then he called back, and I think he said, I'm willing to offer $12 an hour. And I was just like, he may have even said 13. Like I said something like, I need more than 13. Like 13, yeah. I can't do less than 13. 13 is my lowest I can go or something, or I need to make more than 13. And he was like, 13. And I'm like, fuck. And then I sat around and picture myself sitting in traffic all the way to Topanga or Canoga Park or wherever the brass rail is over there every day for $13 an hour. And I was like, can't do it.
Nah.
And that was the end. But that's how I knew there was a brass rail at the Nordstroms over there. Can we do with San Francisco and some other cities, can we do what scientists do when they conduct experiments? Like, can we go, okay, rest of the nation, you know, we took a rat community, and instead of feeding them protein kibble, we started giving them cocaine. And then what we did is, instead of keeping the lights on at the laboratory, we shut the lights off, and we got out of the way. And then we came back and we found out it was a shit show, and the rats were eating their own children and attacking each other. And then go, well, let's maybe not try that.
Yeah.
And like, okay, experiment conducted. We got rid of the cops. We decided to set up safe zones where junkies could shoot up with impunity. We pulled back and we started community policing. We stopped judging. We let people camp in tents on street and defecate on the sidewalk. We tried that all. This is what we got. Experiment over. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Well, that was San Francisco. Let's try Minneapolis. Like, no. We got it now. It doesn't, whatever this thing was, we tried the experiment. It doesn't work. We got to do something else.
I thought that was Seattle. It was San Francisco?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's San Francisco. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is a 312,000 square foot, 5-floor Nordstrom store. And just a reminder, Whole Foods that opened just a year ago announced it was closing because of worker safety. Other like 20 major stores.
Oh, this is in that area. Is that why you brought the? Oh, it's
20
in that
major
area.
stores since 2020 have closed. Anthropology, CB2, a bunch of Walgreens, things like that. So, the Jamie Nordstrom, Nordstrom's chief stores officer, said, quote, "Decisions like this are never easy, and this one has been especially difficult. But as you know, the dynamics of downtown San Francisco market have changed dramatically over the past several years, impacting customer foot traffic to our stores and our ability to operate successfully. The mall says that the mall that it's in, the Westfield Mall, says that Nordstrom's closure underscores the deteriorating situation in downtown San Francisco. And a growing number of retailers and businesses are leaving the area due to unsafe conditions for customers, retailers, and employees."
I agree with that. And also, I think that my wife hardly ever goes into a store now. We just pick up. Honestly, if it's Amazon, why deal with people in a store acting like idiots and waiting in line where you could just order it, they bring it to your car, and you leave? That's what we do all the time now. Yeah. I hardly ever step into a store.
Yeah, and if you have to step over homeless people,
it makes it even worse.
You're not doing it. And then I do love the politicians that get pissed off at the supermarket or the CVS that moves out because they've created an environment that's way too dangerous for their employees or way too much shoplifting for their business. Then they get angry at the company that leaves. Please get your shit together, politicians.
Yeah.
All right, we tried the experiment. It didn't work. Now course correct. That's all I'm saying. You just have to course correct. Pulling back the cops, homeless, unhoused, previously housed, want to be housed, could be housed. Fuck all the nomenclature. These are fucking junkies that are withering away and dying on the street. We must do something. You must help them.
Yeah.
Now, with that in mind, I have a follow-up story to that Cash App founder Bob Lee, who was stabbed.
Oh yeah,
remember? And we were
crazy story.
Crazy
man.
story.
I know.
So this is what happened. So the Bob Lee was found with cocaine, ketamine, and alcohol in his system when he died, with 3 stab wounds in early April. His suspected killer, a Bay Area entrepreneur named Nima Momeni, he's 38. He's due in court for his arraignment Tuesday afternoon. It's been postponed twice already. So a witness told police that Momeni and Lee had gotten into an argument earlier in the evening, with a suspected killer confronting the tech mogul for allegedly using drugs with his sister. So it's not like the homeless, crazy homeless stabbing that we thought.
It was all about the sister. I saw a whole news report about it. It was about the sister. The guy allegedly got pissed off because he thought this guy was feeding drugs to his sister, and then he confronted him. I think he was over at the guy's apartment. They left
together.
They left together, got in a car, drove to a secluded area, and that's where he stabbed the guy.
Yeah.
So they went to a secluded area?
Yeah, I mean a secluded area that was closed. There were no cameras.
Yeah, it was a neighborhood. So there's footage of Bob trying to get people call 911, but he ended up he begged passerby for help, but he ended up calling 911 himself. Died at the hospital.
I think if this guy can get his sister to say that guy raped her or something like that, that's gonna go a long way.
Right. What blew me away when they bring him in to get their charges, she was on the brother's side, and
he's pleading not guilty. He's going to plead not guilty, but they've been asking to postpone this arraignment, and they've been postponing it so many times already.
But it's obviously allegedly he kills him, but it looks like he kills him. But I don't care if it's a family member. Maybe I've never had a family member in that situation, but I wouldn't show up to his, where they're gonna put him where he pleads at his plea and be on his side when he did that. And he did that for you, but it's still wrong. I don't know. It's just very weird.
Right. There's a family dynamic now.
It's a family dynamic where I think he thinks they were hooking up too. Maybe that was involved. Alleged. I'm just putting it out there.
Is he Indian? What? Maybe it's like a.
No, the guy was a white guy. The guy he killed was a white guy.
No shit. I'm saying the guy did this. We're talking about a family and a sister, right?
Yeah. Nima Momeni. So
the other guy's name is Lee.
Bob Lee, but he's white.
Yeah. Do you two think I'm asking whether the guy was all over the news whose last name is Lee was white?
I hope not.
Okay, I'm asking about the family because we keep talking about the family.
I don't know what ethnicity they are.
There's a cultural.
Look, we don't listen to BIN as much as you do.
I know.
Right? We're not going to pick up.
Obviously, they're not black because they would have been on BIN.
I'm saying certain cultures.
No, I got you.
White people don't really care what you do with their sisters. Other cultures got to have thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's part of my privilege.
It's part of my privilege. Man, I tell you, when I heard that story, it was when I found out, it was like one of his friends that did it. Yeah. I thought it was about business first. And then you find out it's about his sister, allegedly.
I know. And there's like a high-profile guy. So
I heard that the other guy was tech, but a little bit of a tech shyster, like was not really Elon Musk, but a little bit of a swindler or something.
Gotcha.
You know?
Sure, I'm sure there's plenty of those.
I mean, you have to think about, like, in the tech world, how many guys roll into town with a kind of BS story. Because in the old days, you could not roll into town and say, I'm the best blacksmith there is. Yeah. I invented the horseshoe, and someone would go, good, there's an anvil and a fire. Go ahead, show us what you got, you know. But in the tech world, you could weave a story. Like, I don't know that people would know what you did or when you did it or who you were.
It's that, I don't know her name, but that lady that
with the drugs?
pushing with the drugs, like she made something like investors gave her like billions of dollars or something like that.
Because it's invisible.
It's invisible,
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, and that's what kind of tech is until it's real. You know, it's this idea, they sell the idea, and in that internet boom back in the day, it was crazy.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We got more news, got phone calls, and we'll do all that right after this. The Jordan Harbinger Show, a different kind of sponsor for this episode, the Jordan Harbinger Show. Well, if you're a fan of fascinating podcasts and interesting people, you should definitely check this one out. There's an episode for everyone, no matter what you're into. Jordan talks with Scott Adams about persuasion in a world where facts don't matter anymore. Man, is he right. Or you go inside the dark world of wildlife trafficking. You'll always find something useful to apply to your own life, like routine changes to boost productivity or slight mindset tweaks that change how you see the world. Jordan's a good guy. We've had him on many times. I know the man well, and he's worth a listen. We enjoy the show, and we know you will too. So you can search The Jordan Harbinger Show. That is HARB as in boy, IN as in Nancy, GER on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Hey, it's Adam Carolla. Is your vehicle no longer stopping like it used to? Or does it squeal, shake, or grind when you brake? Don't miss spring brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts now through April 25th. You can get 15% off when you buy a set of Brake Best Select or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors. Brake Best Select and Import Direct brake pads are engineered for all driving conditions to restore and improve braking performance. With application-specific friction formulas, noise-canceling shims, and low-dust operation. Trust Brake Best and Import Direct to deliver better braking. Don't take a chance on your next brake repair. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will help you find the brake parts and supplies you need to do the job right the first time. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit online, O'ReillyAuto.com.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
Here's Johnny.
If you said The Shining,
Here's Johnny.
You're correct. Now, back to the show.
Michael Yo hanging in for a little more news. What else you got, Mexipata?
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2023 announced. Rather than me telling you all of the inductees, I thought it'd be more appropriate for LL Cool J to do it. So here we go.
What up, LL Cool J here, and as a previous inductee in the Hall of Fame, I'm both excited and proud to announce this year's 2023 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee class. In the performer category, this year's inductees include Willie Nelson, George Michael, Missy Elliott, Sheryl Crow, Rage Against the Machine, The Spinners, and Kate Bush. Also inducted will be Shaka Khan, Bernie Taupin, and Al Kooper for musical excellence, DJ Kool Herc and Link Ray for musical influence, and Don Cornelius for the Ahmet Ertegun Award. The 2023 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees are recognized for their impact and influence on music while shaping the history of rock and roll. Please join me in congratulating them on this huge honor, baby. Peace.
Oh, play the Sting, Dawson. Come on. Wake up over there.
Black news all day, every day.
The power of information.
Do you think
BIN
LL
on
Cool?
iHeartRadio?
You think LL Cool J knows who the fuck Kate Bush is? I think someone had to say it to him.
I don't know who Kate Bush is.
That's my point.
Who is Kate Bush?
Kate Bush got really famous after Stranger Things made her song "Running Up That Hill" a #1 hit.
What song
It's from
is that?
'85.
Oh, it's from '85.
Kate Bush is the opposite of rock and roll.
Okay.
There's nothing rock and roll about Kate Bush. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now is just a Chinese fire drill of every artist running in a circle around a parked car. There's no rhyme or reason to it anymore. Kate Bush has nothing to do with rock and roll. She never had anything to do with rock and roll. She has a hit and maybe more. What is her second hit? And you guys should probably have that somewhere, but I don't even know what her other hit is.
Wuthering Heights was her debut single.
I've never heard any of her music.
Top 10 hits include The Man with a Child in His Eyes.
Nope.
Babushka.
Nothing says rock and roll like Babushka.
Don't Give Up, a duet with Peter Gabriel.
Don't Give Up, you know.
And King of the Mountain.
Is that Running Up That Hill?
No, Running Up That Hill. I thought we already said that one, so I didn't want
Oh, she's got a hill and a mountain song?
Yeah, she has Running Up That Hill and King of the Mountain. But as I said, so she became a #1. She had a #1 hit like last year because of Stranger Things. So
Right.
her song was
It's a
featured in
cool
Stranger
song from the 80s. There's no possible way she should be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Now, I was thinking that because I thought if Stranger Things didn't happen, would she be inducted?
No.
Right? But the answer is no. But I guess she's been nominated or on the ballot a few times, like back in the 80s. And then John Sykes, the chairman of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he told Variety, quote, "Sometimes it takes a major moment like Willie's 90th birthday, or in this case, Kate Bush's music being played in Stranger Things to shine a light on them for a lot of younger people who didn't know who she was in 1985. They probably weren't even born yet."
Well, now we got to find the song because Michael's.
But what's that have to do about being like, since younger people know her, they're going to put her in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That doesn't. what that guy said doesn't even connect.
Well, what he has done is he's added a lot of younger voters to the general voting body.
I don't think she has a body of work.
Yeah.
She has the song that Michael doesn't know that he knows. And then she has.
You think I know?
You know.
Think I?
You do know. I know. Listen,
it was
there's
like a TikTok
one
meme.
gift I have is knowing what everyone knows, even if they don't.
Oh,
think
is this
they
the one that
know
goes
it.
ha ha?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I know this one. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I'm flabbergasted. All right.
Yeah.
There's
So
this song, and then there's the Phil Collins duet,
the Peter Gabriel.
Oh, sorry, Peter
Duet.
Gabriel duet. And then
Don't
I
Give
have
Up.
no fucking idea what the other. What would you be like beside this song? What's her second most popular song? I want to hear it just to see if I know it because I listened to the shit out of like K-Rock in the '80s, and I would have heard it. She doesn't have the body of work.
Was the Running Up the Hill? Running up the hill. She goes,
Yeah.
run up the hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that go #1? Was that a
Yeah, that was
Wow, that was a
became
big
huge song after because it was like in a big Stranger Things like.
But no,
moment.
I'm talking about when it came
I gotta
out.
stand in between you two and tell her to tuck it. He just wants to know back in the
Sorry.
day.
Yeah.
It was a hit, but I don't think it wasn't #1.
Okay.
All right, that's a great song, but get her out. She doesn't. You know who's not in there?
Who?
I don't want to rock your world.
Uh-oh.
And I know you brothers are really into Gordon Lightfoot because he's Canadian and white. Gordon Lightfoot just died. He's not in there. Jim Croce, not in. How can you have a music hall of fame that has Kate goddamn Bush and no MF and Jim Croce? That's no Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's
And
no
Jim
any Hall of
Croce
Fame.
did one of the most rock and roll things in his life. Died in an
a plane
airplane crash.
And sung Bad Bad Leroy Brown at the time of the violence.
This is Gordon.
This is Gordon.
He belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for this song.
Just like Ted Nugent belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for Stranglehold.
Ted Nugent not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Just like Ronnie James Dio belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for Holy Diver.
Let me tell you this. All right,
all these people you just said, I have no idea who
but
they are.
let me explain something. I don't want you to take any offense, but look, you can't do fucking affirmative action for Hall of Fames. You can't take a bunch of slow white guys and put them in the NFL Hall of Fame, and you can't take shitty chicks and put them in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or even Shaka Khan. It's the goddamn Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, people.
All right, well,
and if you're not going to have goddamn Ted Nugent in there, and you're going to have Shaka Khan in there, and Kate Bush, then it's no longer a Hall of Fame.
So you're saying the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should just be for rock and roll artists?
Well, that's definitely
right.
And
that's where they started it.
But that's what you think it should be.
Okay.
Yes, but you could have an R&B Hall of Fame, but Winger doesn't make it in.
Mm-hmm. No, I see what you're saying. I see
Just
what you're
have
saying.
a Hall of Fame. Or you could have, in general, you could have a music Hall of Fame.
Okay.
In which case, you could have Shaka Khan, but you'd have to get rid of Kate Bush, and you'd have to put in Jim Croce.
But I think they made Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because that's the highest pinnacle you can go.
But you're still missing Jim Croce.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Who had 10 hits, and Kate Bush, who had 1.5 hits.
So, for instance, Missy Elliott was nominated or is being inducted. So this is her first year of eligibility, right? So her first album came out 25 years ago, so she's eligible, and they passed her through. So she's the first female rapper to enter this music organization.
And she'll make it.
She already made it.
It'd be a felony if she didn't.
So she is the.
Come on, where's my BIN stamp?
He's
That was a black
slacking
joke.
on that, man.
She's a.
Do you know her middle name? Dawson?
Do I know Missy Elliott's middle name?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Well, that's why you weren't hot with the button.
She's the 11th rapper
Misdemeanor.
overall, following acts like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Jay-Z, NWA, and Eminem. So now with and sure, yeah, you can say what you want about rapping being
Now
a
the
part of it.
Spinners are great.
Spinners,
they're the best.
So John Sykes, remember the chairman. So this is another quote he had, because last year they inducted 4 women. 4 out of 7 were women. This year they've inducted 3.
Yeah.
And his quote is, "I'm proud of the progress we're making, having gone from about 15% up through late 2018 to women now being 25% of the inductees."
Fuck right off.
So we're making great.
Fuck off. You're ruining everything. They ruin everything. It's like, you know what? That's how we got Kamala Harris. A fucking horrible idiot who's the vice president of the United States because someone announced we need a black woman. No, you don't. You need quality, everybody. You earn your way in or you don't. There is someone named Tina Turner. She's black. She fucking rocks. Put her in. But you can't just keep trying to fucking balance everything out. It doesn't, because then people stop listening. Because what is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? What did it mean to you 15 years ago versus right now? If you, right now,
best
it's like
it was supposed to be the best of the best.
It was the best of the best.
And I think what Adam, well, I'm not going to speak for Adam, but Adam's not, to me, Adam's not saying women shouldn't be in the rock and roll. What he's saying is, no, take the best.
That's
no matter
right.
if they're women, men.
Well, also
put those people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
They want so much to have 25% or 30% of the inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to be women. But has anybody who goes out and sees live music in any night of the week, it's not 25% female. It's 98% dudes playing rock and roll.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
But I think, but besides that, to me, it's just forget about how many percentage of women. It's put the best in there. I don't care
use,
who the best. Don't use the gender. Put the best in there.
Right. Yeah.
And that's it. And if it's 10%, if it's 100%, that's great.
Yeah.
But put the best in there.
That's the point.
And stop using gender as like we put 25. No, we put the best in there.
Well, all it does, it fucks up everyone who's in it, including the women who shouldn't be there. It's the syndrome is the black male student at Harvard. when you start fucking with SAT scores and slanting them this way or that way, then you see the black guy at Harvard and you go, I bet his SAT scores were. Maybe he had the highest SAT score in the land, but now we got a kernel of doubt in our head where we're going, I bet he wasn't as smart as the Asian dude who they took off the campus. You don't want that in any institution. And you're making us all wonder now, is Kate Bush really that good? Or is she just there because... And when you do that, you corrupt your institution.
But I think with the thing with music, you got facts behind that. You know what I mean? You can look up her history, which we just did.
1.5 hits.
1.5 hits.
Unless there's another hit that I'm unaware of.
We can go through her songs, but I mean, I'm okay with I think that certain people should just be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for what they do, like female drummers who sing. Sheila E. Throw her in.
Throw her in. Hart, throw them in. I think they're already in.
Yeah.
Look, it's like you got Sheryl Crow and you got Jim Croce. They're both amazing, prolific. Put them in. It's fine. But you don't have to shoehorn people in who don't need to be in there.
Right. So Sykes says, so we're making great strides.
Kate Bush is coming on later in the week, by the way.
Yeah.
We can kind of just forget about this conversation. Yeah.
John
heap a lot of praise on the woman.
John says we can
I
always...
love your stuff, Kate Bush. You should be in the Rock and Roll.
I never stopped running up that hill since 85.
So we're making great strides. We can always do better, but we're on the road to recognizing all the artists of all genders and all races that have been really impacted.
And also, I have no idea why Jim Croce is not in there, but the problem is if you're looking for the next Kate Bush, you will forget about Jim Croce because he's a white dude. He's not on anyone's list, and we don't need one of them in here. And that guy... I have no goddamn idea why Jim Croce.
But there's white guys on there right there. You got the Rage Against the Machine. You got Willie Nelson, George Michael.
Sure.
I mean, those are white guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael. 30, 40, 50 years ago, Willie owed the IRS $30 million in back taxes, and he paid it off by selling his own shit.
Yeah.
His own, gear. He belongs in the Rock. He came up with $30 million of his own swag to sell to pay the IRS taxes.
How about T-shirts, bongs? What are we talking about here?
I'm shocked he's not already in.
Yeah. Me too. But they said because they're taking milestones in the equation. So his 90th birthday, let's induct him. It's hip hop's 50th anniversary. Let's get some.
But see, I don't like that. Don't like that because you're not putting the best in. You're just making up milestones and saying, "Oh, he turned 90." What about when he was 70? He was just as good at 70. Put him in then.
Well, they were probably like, "Let's wait until Willie's dead," and now they're like, "Well, shit, dude, the guy ain't dying.
Yeah.
Let's just let him in at 90."
Unless they put him in and he just dies in. Sometimes that happens too.
So remember, they have the ballot and people vote because they have the nominations and these are the winners. This is the class that's going to get inducted. But do you want to hear the people that didn't make it?
Yes.
About? All right. A Tribe Called Quest.
Love them.
Iron Maiden. Joy Division. New Order. No. Cyndi Lauper.
If you're going to put, I don't know why Kate Bush gets.
Cyndi Lauper. If you're going to put
8 songs, we know.
Yeah.
Kate Bush has 1.5.
Yeah.
All right.
Soundgarden.
Yeah.
The White Stripes.
I think because they're too young. They're new. This is their first.
Missy got.
But this is their first time, right? Probably,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
they'll do it the next time.
They will.
100%. White Stripes.
Yeah, Seven Nation Army is an anthem that's played in every
amazing.
baseball stadium. And Warren Zevon.
Warren probably should have got
Warren
in
should have been in a long time ago.
Yeah.
Is he an older gentleman?
Yeah. He was a good songwriter, interesting,
70s
kind
guy.
of funny, 70s and 80s, died young, but probably influenced a lot of songwriters and singers and bands and things like that.
And that's why I will stick up for Missy Elliott on this list. She influenced the whole sound of hip-hop music with Timberland back in the early 2000s, 22 years ago.
And
It's about time you got it right.
Of information.
Yes. Nailed it.
Radio.
Nailed it. Woo!
All right, let's do one more.
All right. Just before we get away from this, Don Cornelius is a recipient of the Ahmet
Soul Train,
Ertegun
right?
Award. So that's given to the non-performers, but who have supported artists in music and still made their impact. So.
I was 5 years old. I used to watch that show all the time.
Oh,
Soul
yeah?
Train.
I did a deep dive into Don Cornelius.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he was a radio DJ. He was a cop. He moved out here. He started doing Soul Train. Well, thank God he's not alive, because his acceptance speech would take 3 days, because he was like, I want to thank Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for this and John.
He didn't sound like that on the TV
he
show,
was
though.
the slowest talker
We have that Spandau
in the
Ballet.
world. Oh, and he never got anything right. But I love the man. But he did get into trouble for taking a couple of playmates and locking them up at his house for a little while, too. Hate to break the news to you.
Yeah.
Every day.
Did you hear that on BIN?
BIN on iHeartRadio.
So,
That's
not a BIN story.
It's
They
a
would
more
put that on there,
flattering
yeah.
depiction.
That's a WIN story.
We have we have a Soul Train clip, Brian.
this is Janet. This was Janet Jackson.
That fine recording, and of course you have a great album going for you.
Thank you very much.
And you've been doing some things musically that a lot of folks don't know about, such as
Janet Jackson looks creeped out.
Writing and playing on the album, playing keyboards, synthesizers, yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been playing for a pretty long time, but no one never really knew about it.
Just didn't say nothing.
No, I didn't.
Kind of a different style to this album as far as
My assistant told me
age
it's a
groups and
different style.
demographics and maturity and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, we
a
only have
mature
one
album.
mic, but
The thing that we just
Kinda have
happened.
to
Everything
share.
came together from the songwriting all the way to the
She
cover
looks
of the album.
scared.
Just came together that way.
you would be too.
Yeah.
He's a big man.
It's a big man just staring at her. Yeah.
How about you come over to my house? I'll lock you in the room. He's holding the mic to her eye.
Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael, you've done a ton of those interviews. What
doing?
do you
Yeah, I
think
never
of his
put the
style?
mic in somebody's eye.
Okay.
I tell you that.
Yeah, so-
synthesizer there. Oh wait,
So-
who do we have them with? Spandau Ballet.
Yeah.
I got to see that one.
Sure.
too. This is funny. He
Understand
clearly
you're
has no
playing,
idea who they are.
Los Angeles.
We did Orange County last night. We're doing two at the Universal tonight and tomorrow.
Several of you guys have resemblance besides the two brothers. Are any of the others of you related?
No, would you be related to each other? I wouldn't be related to him. I'm not related to him.
I
Long
wouldn't,
years of living with each other.
You just
Well, this
said all
guy's
white
so
people
funny,
look the same.
Yeah.
It's just y'all resemble each
You
other.
honkies married. Now we're just white people. He's not your cousin. No. Yeah, he'll be missed, but yeah, he did get in a little trouble.
Yeah, so
with
last
some-
year there's an A&E documentary miniseries where he was accused of sexual assaulting two Playboy bunnies in the 70s. The women were alleged to have been brought to his house for a 3-day period where they were locked in separate rooms, bound, drugged, and sexually assaulted. Don's son, Tony,
Oh, get ready with the sting. Come on.
But Don's son, Tony, released a statement saying the allegation was an unbelievable story without real proof.
The source for Black news.
The Black Information Network.
Sounds pretty specific, but you know, she says he didn't.
I don't believe any of it.
Yeah, congratulations, Don, into Don's estate.
That's
All right.
crazy.
Is Joe here? And if he is, where is he? Or no?
I think they're looking.
Oh, okay.
Oh, by the way, Al Cooper was also is also being inducted. You know who that is? Sound familiar?
Is that Alice Cooper or Al?
No, Al Cooper with a K.
No,
So he was a sideman for Bob Dylan, but also he founded Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Oh,
yeah, and I know. So you're okay with that?
Wait, what does founded Blood, Sweat, and Tears mean?
That's a good question. Did he play the horn? He must have played a horn if he was.
Yes.
What is found? You're in the song?
I think it's you start the band and then you quit the band early.
Gotcha.
I think
That's what
it is.
He was known for organizing Blood, Sweat, and Tears, although he did not stay with the group long enough to share its popularity.
But he played, right? Or something. I must have been in the band for 10 minutes or something like that. All right. Let's see. Michael, I know you got a hard out.
Yeah, I have to catch a flight.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
You're going to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I'll be in Salt Lake City. Not this week. I'm going back home. I catch a flight home to Las Vegas, but in a couple of weeks, Salt Lake City, and then I'm
Wise Guys.
Yeah, Wise Guys, and then Seattle, and I'll be at Kimmel's as well.
Yeah, that's coming up. Kimmel's.
And by the way, if anybody hasn't seen his special on YouTube, okay.
That's coming up May 25th through the 28th.
Sorry, and by the way, if you haven't seen Michael Yo's special on YouTube, watch it.
Yeah,
it's
watch
hilarious.
it. It's really good.
Thank
really
you.
good. A lot of family stories. Very well done. And is that the latest one or the last one?
The last one.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's the last one.
that dropped 2 days ago that I missed out on.
Oh no, I didn't drop another one. No,
Okay,
no,
good.
that's coming.
I never thought.
Michael, I never thought. MichaelYo.com is where you go. All right, we'll take a break, and then Joe Matarese, comedian, is going to be in, and we'll do that right after this. Let me tell you about Angie. Angie's List is now Angie, and they've made it easier than ever to get all your home projects done right. I use Angie. Yep, Adam, you can do most everything Angie can do. True, but I'm busy, and I travel. And I have a schedule. So I'll let Angie do a lot of the stuff I don't have time to do or it doesn't make sense to do. 20 plus years of home service experience, and they're combined with new tools to simplify the entire process. So make it easy. On the Angie app, just answer a few questions. They'll handle the rest. See ratings and reviews, compare quotes from local pros, and connect instantly. Cross items off the to-do list in just a few taps. Whether it's routine maintenance or a dream remod, well, Angie makes it easy. Right, Dawson?
Get your next project done right with the help of a pro from Angie. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. In celebration of Jim Carolla's upcoming 92nd birthday, here's a list of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Number 56. Thrown a Frisbee. Just one of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Joe Matarese is in studio. He's got stand-up gigs all over the place. Coming up, Hartford, Connecticut. And that's at River, a waterfront restaurant.
It moved. Their club, I think, had some sort of damage. Little damage. Took a little water on.
Well, you can go to joematarese.com and you can find out all the live shows. I'm looking down here at your facts, and you grew up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
I spent some time in Cherry Hill, New Jersey when I was a kid.
Doing what?
Sitting around. It's probably 6 or something, but I remember going to the Cherry Hill Mall.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a very specific memory of it. But
what was your memory? I'll share mine with you. I used to do a bit about the Cherry Hill Mall, believe it or not.
Oh, you did?
I had a bit.
That must have been the place to be, right?
Only local would people get it. But yeah, I used to say that it's true. The mall is the only mall that has a bad neighborhood. It's literally like this really nice mall, and then there's like a bus stop on one side of it.
Right.
And then it's all bad neighborhood on the other side of the bus stop, because Camden, New Jersey is right next to Cherry Hill,
right.
which is like a #1 crime city. I think it's the #2 crime city in the whole country.
Like a wing that was just
it's like a shit
project.
wing. Yeah, there's a McDonald's is always a good sign too that it's going to be nasty. You know, wherever there's McDonald's, there's always trouble, especially in New York City where I hang out at the most for comedy.
Yeah, I found $50, I think, on the ground when I was like 6, just loose. But it could have been $20, but adjusted for inflation, it was a lot of money.
That's a good side. Yeah.
And my family's really poor, and they're super cheap. And I just found this loose bill, and I showed my mom, and she's like, "We gotta give it to the lost and found."
She made you give it in?
To the lost and found. And I was like, "Who's gonna claim a loose bill?" And she's like, "You got to turn it in." Wow. And we went and turned it in, and they're like, "If no one claims it in 2 weeks, it's yours." And I just remember just sitting home like I was like a convict, like in my cell, like crossing off each day with a piece of chalk on the wall, like you know what I mean, like please. And somebody came in and claimed it.
Are you shitting me?
Not at all.
Oh my God! Do you remember? Did you cry? Were you like?
I remember like making it through like 4 days, going, I think I'm in the clear.
Really?
And this is gonna be the most money I'll ever see. And it was true. Like I never saw that kind of money until I was like 23 or something.
Well, yeah.
And someone came in and claimed it, and then they came to our house. And she was like this middle-aged black cleaning woman, and she's like, I want to thank you for doing the right thing, and I'm going to give you a $5 reward for turning my money in.
Right.
Which is like, I'm still down 15 in my mind, but that's okay. And then my fucking mom is like, you have to split the reward with your sister. I was like, you pay her out of your own pocket, bitch. And she's like, now you got to split with her. So now I got $2.50. So I was not happy about it. But I learned some lesson. I don't know what it was.
It sounds like I can't even believe you turned to comedy and broadcasting because that sounds like a really nurturing mom right there.
I know, she's the worst.
My mom would have been fucking. She would have went and helped me spend it if I found that.
What kind of woman is your mom?
I'm Italian. I mean, I see the vowel at the end of your name. Is you got to be Italian, right? Are you half?
He doesn't rep it.
My dad's the least passionate Italian in the world. My dad is full-blooded Italian and exhibits no characteristics embodied in the Italian heritage at all.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you how. Here's how un-Italian my dad is. He came to my house one day about 15, 18 years ago, and he showed up on a Saturday to my house. And he said, what is new? And I said, I just bought a Ferrari and it's in the garage. And he went, okay, what do we got to eat? And he never went and looked at the Ferrari.
Wow.
That's how un-Italian my dad is.
I think you and I could have an un-Italian off.
Really?
I'm similar. I mean, when my publicist said you're going to do the Carolla show, I'm like, well, what do they want to talk about? I go, they don't want to talk about my career. They want to talk about what's going on weird in your life that week, usually. Yeah. And something that I currently was curious about, it's like, you notice when you're a stand-up and you drop something on your social media and I see 900 comments on it. I'm like, shit. And I posted something about saying, why are so many over-the-top Guido-y Italian guys huge on social media, but there's no like normal Italian that doesn't talk like that. There's no like regular guy like me and you, because I think there's a whole world of us out there, and I made a joke about it and just ranted into my camera, and 900 people, all these people, like, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a social worker, and like I hit a nerve, and like my dad was similar. Like my dad, very well-read guy, chemical engineer, super bright. I know I'm a comedian because of him. The guy just always loved comedy, and even he's still alive. My dad's 80. Like when I go home, we could throw stand-up on and we just watch it together and crack up. And my mom just leaves. It's like my dad and I like watching Rodney, or my dad loves Dennis Miller, and like, he even knew you well. He was like, oh, you're going on Adam Carolla. Okay. My parents are very Republican.
I guarantee my dad has
like,
no idea who you are, by the way.
He shouldn't.
Would not in a million
He
years.
shouldn't, but my dad is like a little bit of a comedy nerd, but he used to smoke a pipe and read National Geographic magazines, and
So
is
you don't-
not Italian-like at all.
You don't like the caricature of Italian Americans, like as portrayed on TVs and movies and that kind of stuff.
See, I've done some events for those kind of Italians, white collar, where I did a show where like Mike Piazza is in the audience, Franco Harris, who's half Italian's in the audience. And I realized I had all this material about the Italian American and the racist Italian grandmom, and it was just bombing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want that out there. Like, they're embarrassed of The Sopranos, those people. They don't laugh at it. They're like, they don't like that stereotype. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I picked all the wrong material. And it's odd how what annoys me, I don't mind them doing it, but I don't even find that they're original. I feel like every guy's eating a sandwich. making a video. I'm like, hey, I'm at this fucking sandwich store. I'm like, why does this guy have what is so great about this?
I don't know why, but yeah, there are a ton of.
They're
accounts
always
where they
eating.
just-
That's all they do.
Take a bite of the sandwich. They rate it.
I would take. You talking about online or like a Sopranos character?
Not even that would be accepting if it's a real character and he's an actor and he was on a show.
Just guys.
I look at it.
Online.
I take. So I reverse engineer a lot of things. First off, you just reminded me. I was thinking of Mike Piazza for a second, but there's a funny. As long as we're talking about famous Italians, there's a famous Tommy Lasorda joke.
What?
He would go, people ask me all the time, am I starting Mike Piazza because he's Italian? And I would tell him, no, I'm starting him because I'm Italian. I don't know why.
That's funny.
It's funny, especially for Tommy Lasorda, but it would always crack me up. But so what I do in life is I kind of reverse engineer it. Like when you hear about somebody, Pete Buttigieg is calling bridges racist, or we're saying we have climate racism, or COVID is racist. I'm like, oh, good, we're out of problems. Right. Because if we're now at the point where we're calling roads and trees racist, that means we're out of real racism, and that's a good sign.
Right.
So I look at those kinds of things, and the thing about making fun of Italian Americans, it means we've arrived. You can't do that with blacks. You can't do it with Hispanics. You can't do it with the trans community. You can't do it with lesbians. You can't do it with this whole groups of communities. The communities you can make fun of, like the white dad. The white dad's always the buffoon and the clod in every single commercial that's ever been created. Thank you, Madison Avenue. We've arrived. That means we invent everything, control everything, and run everything. And ironically, it's white dudes who are making the commercials about white dudes being buffoons and idiots.
Right.
So we're out of the woods.
Right. Well,
every other culture should aspire to one day be the buffoon in a commercial. That means your culture's kicking ass.
That's a good point. It is a good point.
So I'm flattered.
You're flattered
that they make fun of white dudes and especially Italians, and they don't think twice about it.
Well, this is what I think is odd, and this is, well, not that it's odd. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it annoys me. Like, I had certain representation say, oh, you got to take this video down because you're making fun of Jewish people. Like, the video was called I Love Jews. That's what it was called, and it was about my Jewish neighbor coming over and hovering over me, and how she's like so a million questions, and if it's a blue collar work, if it's a manual labor item that I'm pulling out of the trunk, I lose her. And that was like the gist of the joke. How if it's manual labor, and I'm like, isn't that pro-Jewish? If I'm saying manual labor, you don't know anything about it because you're doing so well. Right. Like another one, I used to have a bit.
That Jews are, every Jewish comedian is the first person to say that they would be the last person you'd want to change the tire or fix the shelf.
Yes.
Or they always make that joke.
Yes, it's an old, and I just said it, and then literally he's like, you can't take it down because 3 of my Jewish friends said you have to be Jewish to make fun of a Jewish person. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to actually listen to you on this, and I'm going to take it down. But I'm still trying to rile up that Italian world, this other white-collar Italian. I'm like, all right, well, here's more. I guess I'm allowed to shit on Italian all I want as long as I'm Italian. But if I go to another race, I'm in trouble. Is that 100%? Even if it's like not bad?
First off,
what's bad about saying that?
I want to say this. Everyone, especially middle-aged white people who say, I can't speak on this subject or to this culture, suck my medium-sized cock.
Right.
I'm a fucking comedian. My whole idea is to have takes on everything. I don't just fucking limit it to my lane, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
I can have thoughts about the Ukraine. I can have thoughts about black communities, Hispanic communities, Jewish communities. I'm a comedian. I can have thoughts. It's like, you can't comment. It's like saying you can't comment on your dog. You're not a dog. It's fuck off.
Right.
I'm watching my dog. And I have thoughts.
And also...
So first off, fuck all these people. They're fucking nuts.
I love you.
And they're racist.
Yes.
What do you mean? If I start leaving groups off, that's when we're going to have a problem. That's racism.
Yeah, or if I say something really hurtful about you, but if it's not hurtful, and the other gauge is we're comedians. So if the audience laughed, no one in the audience went, "Oh my God." I'm like, they're all laughing. That's my gauge. That's it. That's the gauge, laughter.
Yes, but so here's the bad byproduct of the time we're living in, which you're expressing right now, which I have been railing against for a million years into a microphone, which is stop breaking everyone off into groups. Because then what ends up happening is you go, oh, so black people can use the N-word, make fun of black people, and then Hollywood and Netflix can make fun of white guys, but Italian guys, I'm Italian. Now I can't make fun of black people, but I can make fun of Italian people. Now all we're doing is sectioning everything off. That's all we do. This didn't used to exist. It was just fucking people. It was just like Rams fans, Patriots fans. You're just fans of this, fans of the NFL. It wasn't this group, that group, the LDGPBF fucking D breaking everything off into a group. They have no idea where they're going with this shit.
Right.
They're just creating a society that is segmented off, and eventually you have to go after the other group. You can't just go, we're the best, we're the greatest, we're the best. How long can you say, like, what if there was a meeting and it was just all us, all the Italian dudes out there, and you had some Al Sharpton, Paisan Sharpton up there, and he was just fucking making speeches about us being oppressed, Italians, oppressed, systemic oppression. After a while, I would raise my hand and go, who's oppressing us? Because I want to know. And then they'd go, oh, this group is the oppressors. And I'd go, well, what the fuck are we doing here? Why are we going after them then? You can't just keep saying you're oppressed before somebody goes, who's oppressing you? And then we're going to have to go after that group. And now you fucking lost this country.
Right. I like the way you pause after the rant. Like,
you're usually sniffs.
His pause just says, "What are your thoughts, Joe?"
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Joe? What do you got on that? I mean,
and we're knee deep in it now.
I do think we would all get along if you realize we were all one, and that's how it was. I mean, I'm a sports fan, so you could also say, are you saying if you go to a baseball game, like I went to my first Dodger game on Monday, because I'm a Phillies fan. So I went to the Phillies-Dodgers game, literally flew in, got off the plane, rented the car, and drove to Dodger Stadium. And that's a 6-hour flight, and went because I want to go. And I loved how L.A. everybody was, and that there was some hate towards the Philly team. That's how it should be. So, but are you saying that you want to go to because another way to look at it would be like, we should all be like, we love baseball. Because that's what I say to people when I wear other opposing teams. Because I like baseball. I'm a huge fan. I'll wear a Yankee hat. I'll wear a Dodgers hat, or I'll wear a Phillies hat because I love baseball. And that's what I usually say to them. Like, I don't understand, like, wanting to kill the other fan, like literally that. And I didn't wear my Philly gear on Monday because I Googled and it said, don't wear opposing team stuff to Dodger Stadium because you'll get hurt. People get punched in the face and all that. I'm like, I don't need that shit. I got to do Adam Carolla on Wednesday. I can't get punched in the face.
Well,
show up with that would be a good interview, though.
I kind of wish you would have.
Because you cannot just root for the Dodgers and leave it at that. You have to root for the Dodgers and hate the Giants. And then before you know it, there's some guy who's getting the shit kicked out of him in a parking lot wearing a Giants jersey who's now a fucking vegetable because two Dodger fans beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
That's the problem with all the race hustling. You can't just leave it at you guys are good or you guys are oppressed. At some point, you have to go after some other groups. There is no, look, you go, why aren't there more blacks at UCLA? And someone goes, I don't know. Are they full up? Yeah, they're full up. Well, were they full up with? Asians. All right, get some of the Asians out of there and make some room for the blacks. It can't just be put more blacks into UCLA. You got to make room.
Right.
You got to not let some other group in. That's the problem with the quotas.
Exactly. And that happens with comedians, too. You go, I've had this argument with my sister.
It just happened in the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I have Kate Bush, someone no one's ever heard of, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because she has fucking ovaries.
Right.
We're fucking everything up. Nobody gets it. I've said it 1,000 times. No, this is why no one gives a shit about the Academy Awards anymore. Like, it's some affirmative action
Right, because
shit.
it became just like the reality shows where it's too obvious to the viewer that they're evening out. It doesn't need to be even. Like, even when my kid plays high school sports and I still see it happen, I'm like, what happened to the asshole coach that wants to win? I'm like, what are you doing? Why do you don't need to even it out. Don't play, you want to win. I get it. If I got a little angry at my son's coach when he was a freshman.
What
my
sport?
son played football as a freshman, and he doesn't anymore. But we're losing 50-0 with 2 minutes left. I'm like, you can't throw my kid in. Like I saw Rudy. You know, let him in for a sec. We're getting killed. We're not coming back with 2 minutes left. Then even it out. But if it's 8-7, or football, it's 14-7. You don't have to, go for the win. I'm not an asshole, but making it even and then going the other way. So the argument I had with my sister-in-law was just like, but why is it impossible for like me, a white male? Like, it feels impossible to get a special on Netflix or something because you don't fall into that category. You have gray hair, you're white, it's over. So I need to quit. Is that what you're saying?
The only joy of this is the most progressive guy I know who lives in Santa Monica and is down with every fucking cause and always has been, will say to me every time I have dinner with him, I'm 59 years old, I'm white, I'm heterosexual, I can't get a job in this town, like as a producer or creator or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, good. That's your people. You've been fighting for this shit the whole time. So have fun not having a job. You've created this.
Well, Eddie Murphy, if you watch him on Comedians in Cars with Seinfeld, he says when he started comedy, you had to be able to make everybody laugh. Everybody. You couldn't have a specific niche that, my fans are just black or my fans are just Asian. And now there's a lot of these comedians, and I've heard comedians using the term like they're like ethnicity hacks. It's like they just have an Asian audience. They talk all about being Asian the whole time. And I'm like, how are these nice guys not get bored? Because when I lock myself into that corner, I'm going to just do this, and I catch shit for it from people on social media. They'll troll you and be like, why do you keep switching your idea? I'm like, because it's fucking boring to do the same exact thing forever. I can't. I was even afraid to round up Italians because I'm like, I don't want to talk just about being Italian for an hour. It's like, did you ever watch an overweight comedian do an hour of fat jokes? It starts to get old,
Yeah.
Even
listen, I don't even like when women comedians just talk about dating the whole time. It's like, it just feels low-hanging fruit, kind of cop-outy or whatever. Yeah, fat comedian, black comedian, whatever.
I think social media messed it up. It's like now people realize it's really easy to do a grab of an ethnicity is the easiest. That's the number one easiest thing to grab. Second, I say, is low-level idiots. So if you have like a very, blue collar, bunch of fucking asshole, racist, uneducated people, and that's what your podcast aims towards them.
Yeah, that's us.
It's like,
and we don't aim towards them, but we do attract them.
No, I can tell by talking to you. You can have both. That's the best.
The porch
people
light
attract both.
isn't there to attract a moth, but it does.
It does.
And that's what this podcast does
fine.
with the racist.
That's fine. Because, no, you can attract one, but I always thought Howard Stern was great because he attracts both. He didn't just have strippers on. Now he's talking about the news in a very intelligent way. So you attract both. Why don't, you can't lock in.
No, I think
thing.
Yeah,
you would actually like his special coming out, Mullets and Mixtape. So, by the way, follow him on social for the release of that. But what he did was he took his son's bedroom, half his son's bedroom and half of his bedroom, and like superimposed them, and that's the backdrop. And
I didn't even superimpose them. We really built that set.
Look at that.
Yeah, one is my bedroom from the 80s because
That's awesome.
I graduated high school in 85 and my son's 15 now, so that's his bedroom now.
So he's relating to two different generations. Look at that.
Yeah, and that's an LED screen in the middle, so I show a lot of
Where'd
pictures.
you shoot that?
I shot that at a theater about 15 minutes from where I live in Westchester County, New York, about 20 minutes above New York City.
It's an interesting
That's
looking
the
space.
Emmeline. Emlyn Theater. It's small. It's only 250 seats.
Did you do a couple of shows and then whack them together?
I wanted to. They wouldn't let me, believe it or not.
Why not?
It's a whole controversy. You'd have to get my manager in here for that one. They argued with me, and I'm very OCD, man. I don't know if you're that way. Like, and when it comes to editing, my OCD goes crazy. Like, I'm like, I see all the flaws, and I'm like, cut it here, cut it. And they just said, you're not even allowed to be in the editing room. I'm like, I can't edit on a piece of paper. I need to sit in the room with the guy, and I love it because I'm OCD. I enjoy it. But no, they wouldn't let me take we taped 2 shows, but 99.5% of it is the first show.
Oh, so you did tape 2.
We taped 2.
That's how they normally
But I
do
wanted to use to be honest, I wanted to use the first 5 minutes of the second show. I thought that it rocked. The first 5 minutes of the first show, I literally had to, I had to break in the middle of the taping and become my own audience warm-up. I literally stopped and I went, you fuckers know I'm doing a comedy special right now? Like, why are you, like, you're good, but they were like, it was like they were, sometimes when you're filming, audiences get like, oh my God, he's filming.
A little shy.
They get like afraid instead of having a good time. They're like looking at the cameras and shit. And you're like, I'm relaxed, so stop worrying for me. Just have a good time. So and as soon as I said that and let the air out of it, they were amazing for the rest of the show. So that's why I wanted to chop the beginning of the second one, because I guess I didn't give a shit either. Once you get the first one in the can and you know it went really well, you're like,
yeah,
now you have fun.
No, yeah, you're kind of playing with house money at that point. Like there's a really good feeling of doing the first show, having it go well, and then going out like loose and fun for the second show. And there's a kind of version of that with almost everything in life.
Yeah.
Like even playing sports, like once in a while when I play baseball, if I hit a home run, like early in the game, I'd be like, however this one ends up, I still got a dinger.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and you're actually looser for the second time, and your cuts are better just because you've like taken this whatever off of you.
I'm sure if I get to do the Adam Carolla show, it will be 1,000 times better the next time if you have me back on.
Maybe the third
time.
Yeah, but the second one's going to be
Second
strong.
one's harder.
Yeah.
He's clapping. He's clapping.
I love your manager, Adam, because he came in and
he's a huge fan.
And he told me that rest assured this old man show bit I did was like the best sketch he'd ever seen, and I was like, no one's ever said that.
Really?
I've never heard that before, but I'm profoundly flattered.
I'll tell him you said that. Now I feel bad that I said he wouldn't let me edit my special the way I wanted.
Well, maybe he cares too much. Like I tend to love too much.
I think he know. Well, it's like the boy who cried wolf. I am annoying because of that obsessive compulsiveness and wanting things perfect.
I'm not obsessive compulsive, but I have hypervigilance.
Okay,
which is a version of it.
I'm probably both.
You notice
get in
things?
arguments. I piss people off. I notice. My dad has it too. Like, I remember when my son was first born, my parents drove 2 hours up from Cherry Hill, New Jersey to New York to see their first grandson. And my dad walks in our house and he goes, you got a lot of moss on the side of your garage. Why don't you like power what? And I'm like, this is your grandson. Yeah. I'm holding your grandson and you're freaking pointing out moss on my garage. Like, and I have that quality. I can see it fast, the flaw, and then I just fucking stare at it. And I used to annoy soundboard people, you know, if you go to comedy clubs and you're like, can you make it a little louder? And they would literally go, no, it's good. And that would make me lose it. No, it's good. No, it's not good. Or the lights are too dark. I can't even see the comedian who's on right now. Why? We're not a band. You need to see us. We don't want that dark, dim, red light on our face, you know? So you start to learn when you get older and have been in the business a while how to nicely ask for the way you want. And I think what I had to do with my manager was, all right, I'm backing off. You're probably just saying, he was probably seeing me start to be annoying, was like, Joe, it's fine. Just let it go. It's fine. The special's good. Let us handle it.
Hypervigilance usually means when you're sleeping, you need like an eye mask and some white noise or something like that because you have trouble shutting it off. Is that you?
Yeah, a little bit. But like
everyone's
I think,
a little bit that way.
I think a lot of entertainers are very like that. Like I really laughed hard. I went and saw that Michael Jackson Broadway show. Mm-hmm. And they really, well, this was hilarious. This will tell you about my manager. He's like, "You went to see that? I hope they didn't talk about child molestation." I'm like, "Yeah, I think they left that out. I think they're going to leave it out." I'm like, what song are they singing about that? What are you talking about? Right. But the one thing they did leave in the play is Michael Jackson being super picky to the point where it's comedic. Mm-hmm. And he so there's one line in it where he fires the choreographer. He's just like, "You're fired." And the guy's like, "I am?" He goes, "No, I'm just kidding." And it was hilarious because I was like, they were showing that side of him that he's a true artist and he's right because these videos are incredible when they were done. And sometimes you just got to let somebody. It's like let Larry David and they let Jerry Seinfeld make the Seinfeld show, even though they were being very annoying. And guess what? It's the best sitcom probably we've ever seen. So
it's decent for Jews, but I think I feel like we got an
everybody loves Ravens better.
We got Italian. Romano would have fucking crushed that role. All right, well, let's go out on a happy note.
Yeah, I didn't do anything funny on this episode. This is good.
No, I think you were great.
Yeah.
Okay.
JoeMatarese.com is where you go. Mullets and Mixtapes is the name of the special, and live shows coming up all over the place. But we should just go to your website and
the
figure out
social
where your
media
dates
is
are.
the best way. The website's not. Probably just at the Joe Matarese is the best way to get everything. You'll get lots of my clips and TikTok and Instagram and all that. But the website's where you buy tickets to come to shows.
Yeah. There'll be a little Jew bashing. It's entertainment. Bring Nana. All right. I'll be at Kimmel's Comedy Club coming up May 11th, and then Oklahoma City, May 19th and 20th, and in New York City, Sony Hall, May 26th and 27th. You go to AdamCarolla.com for all my live shows. And until next time, Adam Carolla for Michael Yo and Joe Matarese and Chris Max Bada saying mahalo.
Get yourself a copy of any of Adam's